We are kicking off with WWE, and yesterday we reported that around a dozen behind-the-scenes employees had been cut from WWE, and now on-screen talent have also been let go. Fightful and PW Insider have both confirmed these releases, and from the main roster, Braun Strowman, Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, Kayden Carter, and Katana Chance have been cut. From NXT, fans have seen the last of Cora Jade, Gigi Dolin, Eddy Thorpe, Riley Osborne, Jakara Jackson, Mensah, and Javier Bernal, as well as Gallus, the group consisting of Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang. It's been reported that some of these exits may be due to contracts expiring and not being renewed rather than flat-out releases, but the result is still the same. For Strowman, this is the second release of the former Universal Champion, who signed with WWE in 2013 and became a major star and world champion before his June 2021 release. Strowman returned in early September 2022, and this cut comes as a shock to fans who were holding out hope that Braun would return to the main event scene he was once part of. Braun once headlined pay-per-views and flipped vehicles during his peak and won the Universal title at WrestleMania 36 against Goldberg during the pandemic era. On Twitter, Strowman didn't comment on his release but shared a photo of himself holding a drink on what appears to be a boat, a quiet cheers to the end of another chapter in his life. Dakota Kai had been with WWE since late 2016 and is a two-time NXT Women's Tag Team Champion with Raquel Rodriguez, with the duo also serving as the inaugural champions. Kai was released from WWE in 2022 but brought back by Triple H that same year and would go on to become a two-time Women's Tag Team Champion with Io Sky. On Twitter, Kai, a known gamer, shared a gif of CJ from GTA San Andreas, specifically the moment from the start of the game when CJ declares, here we go again." Shayna Baszler joined WWE in 2017 and enjoyed 2 reigns as the NXT Women's Champion and 3 reigns as WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. 2 of those reigns were alongside Nia Jax, while the third was with Ronda Rousey, and Baszler would defeat Rousey in her final WWE match at SummerSlam 2023. More recently, Baszler had been a part of the Pure Fusion Collective, but with Sonya Deville being released back in February, Zoe Stark is the group's sole member remaining in WWE. On Twitter, Baszler was defiant in the face of her release, telling fans that no one can offer what I have to offer. Reality, let the galaxy burn. Katana Chance joined WWE in 2017, while Kayden Carter joined a year later, and the duo had been among WWE's most consistent established female tag teams in recent years. After grinding through NXT, the pair won the NXT Women's Tag titles in 2022 and held them for a record-breaking 186 days and established themselves as fan favorites on the brand. Their energy, chemistry, and in-ring work resulted in them being called up to Raw in 2023, where they won the Women's Tag Team Championships from Chelsea Green and Piper Niven that year. Despite their momentum, the duo would go underutilized once their title reign ended and struggled to get consistent booking across the board for much of their main roster run. Cora Jade, whose real name is Brianna Kota, signed with WWE in 2021 and quickly emerged as a standout star in NXT's women's division, where she quickly formed a team with Roxanne Perez. The pair would win the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, but Jade's edgy skateboard-swinging character took a major shift when she turned heel on the Prodigy. This sparked one of NXT's biggest female rivalries in years, though for much of 2023 and 2024, injuries would keep Cora Jade out of the ring. On Twitter, Jade shared 2 posts within minutes of each other, the first showing her with friends and some alcohol, as she joked that just got a lot of free time on her hands. Mere minutes later, Jade shared a more serious response, saying that she was thankful for the childhood dream she got the chance to live out and promised a lot to say in due time. Jade is already stepping into the next chapter of her career as she has changed her name to Elena Black on Twitter, the name she used before signing with WWE in 2021. Black made things official with a tweet saying, "Hit me up at ElenaBlack@yahoo.com, and while she can't compete elsewhere yet, she can be contacted by interested parties." As 1/3 of Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolin once had the attention of the entire NXT universe, but she struggled to gain momentum after Mandy Rose's termination in late 2022. Dolin tried a few stories on her own, but more recently found herself teaming with Tatum Paxley, and the pair challenged for the WWE Women's Tag titles on last week's episode of NXT. The pair failed to dethrone Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and now Dolin, a 2-time former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, is on her own yet again. Prior to her stint in WWE, Gigi Dolin was known as Priscilla Kelly and drew a lot of attention to herself, and fans will have to wait and see what she does next now that her WWE run has ended. On Twitter, Dolin shared that she'd be free to work in 30 days as her email address for booking seemingly confirmed that she'll be returning to the Priscilla Kelly name. Eddy Thorpe signed with WWE in 2022 after a standout run in New Japan Pro Wrestling as Carl Fredericks, but underwent a complete rebrand once he arrived in NXT. As Thorpe, he paid homage to Native American DJ and activist Red Thunder Thorpe and had a memorable feud in 2023 with Dijak, culminating in an NXT Underground match. While he wasn't a regular on TV, Thorpe's presence added to the roster, and just earlier this year, he found himself in the NXT Championship picture. On Twitter, Thorpe shared a gif of someone saluting goodbye, and in the comments, several fans argued it was time for Thorpe to return to the Bullet Club now that he's a free agent. One fan commented, "Just a peace sign and a stare, but the message was loud," as fans recognized that this was the former superstar's silent farewell. As for Gallus, the group had been a dominant presence in NXT UK before moving to NXT in the United States, where they continued with their gritty, no-nonsense style. The group first arrived in WWE in 2018 and quickly established themselves as a formidable stable, with Mark Coffey and Wolfgang holding the NXT UK tag titles for close to 500 days. This reign is one of the longest reigns in modern tag team history, while Joe Coffey competed in several standout singles matches in NXT UK against the likes of Pete Dunne and Ilya Dragunov. It therefore made sense for the group to be moved to NXT after NXT UK was shut down, and the faction went on to win the NXT tag titles in 2023. The group remained in the title picture until recent months, and while their TV time dried up, Gallus was seen as a reliable act with deep chemistry and veteran presence. In fact, the group was so reliable the trio were chosen to train with The Rock in 2024, ensuring that the final boss was ready for his WrestleMania 40 Saturday main event. Now all three members of the group are gone as WWE's UK era continues to fade from existence, and one of the hardest-hitting teams is no more. Riley Osborne signed with WWE in 2022 and would make his in-ring debut as part of NXT Level Up in early 2023 before becoming a featured star on the main NXT brand. Osborne's flashy offense and standout athleticism instantly made the clean-cut superstar stand out, and his background in gymnastics helped give him an edge in the squared circle. His early performances were praised for their crisp execution, but it was in late 2023 that Osborne's character hit its stride as he joined Chase U. Aligning with Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale, the group helped elevate Osborne's visibility on the brand, as well as give him regular TV time. The peak of Osborne's push came when he competed in the 2023 Men's Iron Survivor Challenge at NXT Deadline, showing he had the tools to compete in such a high-profile match. Despite having a ton of promise, Osborne has received less screen time in recent weeks, which now appears to have been foreshadowing ahead of his WWE release. Jakara Jackson, whose real name is Brianna Brandy, signed with WWE back in 2021 and trained at the Performance Center before making her way onto NXT Level Up and later NXT. Jackson rose to prominence as part of the Meta 4 faction alongside Noam Dar, Ora Mensah, and Lash Legend, and Jackson brought plenty of charisma to the group. Jackson shined in backstage segments and promos, even when she wasn't the one being featured in the ring, and her exit comes after Metaphor disbanded during this week's NXT. Not only did the group disband, but it was suggested that she and Lash Legend would no longer be teaming, and it's clear that this was a quiet send-off before news of her exit was made public. On Twitter, Jackson was bold and hungry for what's next as she told fans that she's always been and always gon' be about that action. Oro Mensah is another name fans have seen in an NXT ring seemingly for the last time, as on Twitter, he indicated that he had been let go from WWE. Mensah signed with WWE in 2019 and wrestled as Oliver Carter in NXT UK, and he and Ashton Smith would capture the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. Like Gallus, Mensah was moved to NXT in 2022 and would become part of Meta 4, and in his tweet, Mensah spoke about spending 15 years working hard and sacrificing to make it to WWE. Mensah thanked fans for their support and spoke about always giving 110% in the ring, and like his Meta 4 alum Jakara Jackson, he too will need to find his place outside of the promotion. PW Insider has reported that Javier Bernal has also been released from WWE after first signing in 2021 and quickly carving out a spot for himself on NXT Level Up. Bernal would later make it to NXT, where his big body Javi gimmick leaned into comedy segments and promos that caught the attention of fans. On Twitter, Bernal said that while Big Body may be gone, he's not going anywhere, and shared that he'll be a free agent in 30 days before sharing his booking email address. It's not just the wrestlers who will be vanishing from WWE programming, as Ryan Papola, a name fans will know from WWE Now and The Bump, has also been let go. PW Insider reports that Papola was among those cut during the May 1st staff cuts, and his departure marks the end of a tenure that started from the ground up. Papola started off as an intern before climbing his way up the editorial ranks and eventually rising to be one of WWE's go-to hosts of digital content. Despite his exit, PW Insider reports that Papola was very much liked within the company walls, as he clearly had a strong support system within WWE prior to his exit. Between these cuts and the staff releases earlier this week, WWE has a noticeably smaller crew of people today, but what do we know about these releases? On Fightful's YouTube channel, Sean Ross Sapp said how Triple H was connected to the talent releases given his role as WWE's chief content officer. The belief is that the game wanted to keep any of the released superstars, they would still be with the company instead of waiting for their non-compete clauses to expire. Talent signed to NXT will have to wait out 30-day non-compete clauses, meaning they'll be free from early June, while talent on main roster contracts will have to wait 90 days. WWE has cut talent despite boasting record profits at WrestleMania 41, and in the past, WWE has chalked off massive waves of talent cuts as being due to budget cuts. As WWE continues to cut costs under the TKO umbrella, these releases show that nobody, from an NXT hopeful to a former Universal Champion, is too big or too small to be let go. This round of cuts is said to be ongoing, meaning more WWE superstars could find themselves on the chopping block, and at this time, WWE hasn't given an official comment on these cuts. That is in line with the strategy WWE has used in recent years, as the company prefers quiet cuts or simply letting contracts expire rather than bringing attention to releases. Where these superstars and staff go next, that remains to be seen, but the free agency market is going to be filled with talent once these non-compete clauses come to an end. Over to SmackDown, as Pretty Deadly battled Fraxium on SmackDown in what should have been a relatively standard affair between two talented teams, but things would go off the rails. The issue started when Nathan Frazier landed a standing shooting star press that appeared to hit Elton Prince directly in the face, leaving Prince bleeding from the mouth and disoriented. The next big sign something was wrong came seconds later when Frazier went for the pin and Prince didn't kick out, but since this wasn't the planned finish, the ref stopped the count at 2. Prince was dazed and didn't respond until he managed to crawl over and tag in Kit Wilson, and there was another botch after Wilson delivered a powerbomb and covered Frazier. Wilson got a 3 count, but Frazier kicked out as the bell sounded, and despite the bell ringing, the referee waved off the pinfall and allowed the match to continue. Despite the chaos, Fraxium ultimately picked up the win after pinning Wilson, all while Prince was being evaluated by medical staff outside of the ring. WWE hasn't released any statement about Elton Prince's condition yet, but given the condition he was in and the missed pinfalls, it's clear something went very wrong in this match. This match wasn't the only bout that saw major issues, as the showdown between LA Knight and Damian Priest that was supposed to be the main event of the show also had its share of problems. This match came about after the pair had a shoving altercation backstage as well as an in-ring segment, and not wanting to waste time, the pair competed in the show's opener. During the match, Solo Sikoa interfered to attack Priest, and this was seen by Priest, who ended the match seemingly in a disqualification. However, while the match should have been a DQ win for Priest, the match was declared a no contest in a baffling display of WWE being unaware of its own rules. For a no contest, both men would have had to have been attacked at the same time, but in this instance, it was clear Priest was attacked before Knight, granting an obvious DQ. While WWE could later change this result, right now the no contest decision stands, and after the match it was announced that Jacob Fatu will battle both Priest and Knight at Backlash. The match will also include Drew McIntyre, meaning the odds are against the defending US champion, but how WWE got to this match was a very messy situation. Now, WWE moving SmackDown to 3 hours hasn't exactly been a popular or successful move, and now the clock is ticking on those extra 60 minutes. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is preparing to move SmackDown back to its original 2-hour format, with June 6th being suggested as the day of the change. It was made clear that this is not a hard date, and Brian Alvarez said the change was expected for late May at one time, and it's believed the date will be finalized this week. The growing runtime has been a source of frustration within WWE, as sources believe the extra hour has led to weaker pacing, filler content, and creative fatigue. While the extra hour was intended to give underused talent more screen time, fans have also complained about the extra time, comparing it to when Raw dragged as a 3-hour show. If the June 6th date holds up, WWE could return to a more fast-paced, focused SmackDown in time for the summer and big events including Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. Do you want WWE to stick with a 3-hour SmackDown, or should they pull the plug? Please let us know your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. Cody Rhodes hasn't been seen on WWE programming since his WrestleMania loss to John Cena, but fans got a huge clue as to when he'll be back. Rhodes is currently being advertised on WWE's official website for the May 16th episode of SmackDown in Greensboro, North Carolina, the first show following WWE Backlash. Notably, Rhodes had been absent from promotional materials for all prior episodes, suggesting this post-Backlash promotion is no mistake on WWE's part. Rhodes typically shares his schedule at the beginning of each month, but has remained silent so far in May and has been silent since John Cena and Travis Scott took the WWE title from him. Who do you want to see Cody Rhodes target when he returns to WWE programming? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Roman Reigns and CM Punk may be bitter rivals, but the former WWE World Champions could soon find themselves in the ring as tag team allies. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is considering a major tag team match for the pair in which the unlikely duo would face Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Punk and Reigns were both betrayed by Paul Heyman at WrestleMania 41 and were laid out by Rollins and Breaker on the post-WrestleMania episode of Raw. The report adds that the match will not come at Backlash St. Louis, but will be saved for a more marquee event on WWE's 2025 calendar, perhaps at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. Punk and Reigns haven't exactly been on the same page throughout their careers, but now have a common enemy, and we'll have to see if the pair can coexist against Heyman's faction. More from SmackDown as Aleister Black had an effective reintroduction when he defeated The Miz in the Dutch wrestler's first match back. Post-match, Black and Carmelo Hayes had an intense stare-down, teasing a match between the former NXT champions that fans are hungry to see. There was an interesting segment before the match when The Miz spoke with Hayes backstage and spoke highly of himself, his tenure, and how he's outlasted so many other wrestlers. On the day of releases, this segment seemed rather tone-deaf, and while these comments were likely a nod to Black's exit and return, it was certainly a choice to host the segment on this day. Randy Orton was in the ring to declare that John Cena is the next legend that he's going to kill, and said Cena is just a shiny new toy for WWE's Ultimate Puppet Master. Fans speculated that this was a swing at The Rock, and could fans see a showdown between the pair over a decade after the pair collided in handicap action at WrestleMania 20? Backstage, R-Truth mocked Orton and vowed Cena will retain the undisputed WWE title at Backlash, as Truth continues to remain in denial over his childhood hero's heel turn. During SmackDown, it was announced that John Cena will be on next week's show in Dayton, and we'll have to see what he has to say 24 hours before his final match with Randy Orton. Bronson Reed has been out since Survivor Series, where he suffered a broken ankle, but now the Australian superstar may have teased when fans can expect him back. After the Crown Jewel news, Reed asked, "Will the Wave God finally make it home?" suggesting that he's hoping to be ready to wrestle in his home country this October. Back to SmackDown as Chelsea Green, dressed in all black to mourn her women's US title loss, and was horrified to see new champion Zelina Vega defeat Piper Niven. Rey Fenix defeated Santos Escobar in another excellent showing for Fenix, who got revenge on Santos, who mocked Rey for losing his WrestleMania debut match. Escobar, who declared that with Rey Mysterio out, it's up to him to be the greatest luchador in WWE, a comment that we're sure plenty of masked stars will take issue with. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax met face-to-face, and Stratton promised a title match for her former ally, but Naomi would interrupt to lay her claim to the women's title. Jade Cargill also came out to brawl with Naomi, and Nick Aldis made a tag team match playa, one that would see Jade pin Nia to get the win for herself and Stratton. Jade held the women's title after the match, but Naomi would be the one who stood tall with the gold after attacking the faces to end the show. This was a decent match, but it definitely fell short of being what should have been in the main event. During the match, there was a moment where Cargill was dominating and had Naomi in a chokehold. She was about to deliver the chokeslam, but then stopped for a second and licked her instead. It was an unexpected moment that no one was ready for. And that was SmackDown, and what did you think? Share your views down in the comments.